हमारे साथ जो वॉरियर हैं आज, ब्रिगेडियर संजय ठाकुर, युद्ध सेवा मेडल, सेना मेडल एंड मेंशन इन डिस्पैचेस. So Brigadier Thakur, welcome to the show, which I call it a win life like a warrior, and you are a true warrior.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And good evening to you and all your very nice seeing you and all of.
Brigadier संजय, आपने जिंदगी में इतना सारा कुछ किया है. मैं छोटी छोटी चीजें बताता हूँ कि आप कमांडिंग अफसर 9 पैरा ऐसे, उसके बाद में स्ट्रेटेजिक ब्रिगेड अंडमान निकोबार में जो बहुत ही प्राइम अपॉइंटमेंट है. फिर आपने फॉरेन के इतने सारे मिशन किए हैं, जो यूनाइटेड नेशंस मिशन किए हैं, और आपने यहाँ तक कि ट्रेन किया है यूएस की स्पेशल फोर्सेस को ट्रेन किया है अफगानिस्तान में जाने से. देन आपने एयरबोर्न मिशन जो है उसको भी आपने किया है. डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में पार्टिसिपेट किया है कतार में, और अभी होने के बाद में भी आप बहुत, ये सब पहुंचने से पहले यू केम फ्रॉम ए वेरी हम्बल बैक. तो हमारे व्यूअर्स को पहले बताइए कि एक इतने हम्बल बैकग्राउंड से आने वाला टीनेजर भी जिंदगी में यहाँ तक पहुंच सकता है. तो थोड़ा सा अपने बैकग्राउंड कैसे, स्कूलिंग.
Yeah, thank you. I want all children to take me seriously, to try and learn from my experience. I was a child not very happy in a classroom. I felt stifled. तो मेरे जो teachers थे वो कहते थे कि ये बच्चा जो है बहुत impatient. So I could not sit for 40 minutes. I wanted to, a very active child. I wanted to participate. I wanted to be asked. And so the curriculum was such of the teachers and the school कि वो सोचते थे कि I was trying to hinder their whatever their schedule and all that. तो वो मुझे बाहर भगा देते. They get out of the class. So every period वो टीचर कहता है यार ठाकुर you get out because तुम मेरे को पढ़ाने नहीं दोगे. तो then I used to be outside, here there. The principal he used to ask बट्टे बाहर क्या कर रहे हो सर, वो मैडम ने बाहर भगा दिया. So he used to take me. नहीं this is not right. So he used to bring me back into the class, and then again after some time the next teacher get out. So again so I was not very happy because probably I was too independent a child, and there are many children like me. We all have our problem. The teachers should have some patience, and of course it is 40-50 students in one class, shouting, howling. वो हर teacher संभाल नहीं पाता. बाद में the teachers realized that this guy is okay. He can be handled if he is spoken to properly, and if he is. So when they started respecting me as a student and trying and involving me in the class and all that, so I started listening to them. So that means I must have been a very difficult child. I wanted attention, special attention, which the teachers were not ready to give to me. My father was, in the Air Force. He was a sergeant. So I recollect him as a corporal, as a sergeant. So he came from a good family, but he ran away from his house. He must have also been like me, very impatient and whatever. So वो Air Force में भर्ती हो गए. And so with him we went all over the country, wherever, and all Air Force schools, Kendriya Vidyalayas mostly, somewhere convent schools. And so it was every time changing schools is not easy, and your father is never available to you. I hardly spent any time with. We were 4 of us, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. They were very good in studies. I was the only one. I used to go to a class and they used to tell me to get out. So somewhere around 6th, 7th standard, the sports, I said, okay, this is. So I went into hockey. My father bought this, and I saw that I have some skills, and so वहाँ से I never looked back. I started participating in junior level tournaments, various tournaments all over the country, going for mountain trekking. So the school also used to send me everywhere and participate in all games and outdoor activities, debates, whatever I could, but not sit in the class. Somehow I was not habitual to sit for a long. So I used to want to get up, talk, things like that. So maybe I think around 8th standard, the teachers started involving me, and then I became the school captain also. They gave me so much of respect. I became the best student also. But my initial 7th till 7th standard, I was like a rebel. So I somehow did not like going to the school or class, where I felt that my potential and my learning, my knowledge not improving as much, and maybe I wanted something which I was not getting. So that was my, school.
In fact, Brigadier Thakur, what you said, the word which you use, the rebel. I have seen the most of the achievers have been rebel in their life sometime. And unless you are the rebel, you won't reach anywhere. You have to be rebel somewhere to pursue your dreams. To pursue your dreams, you have to be rebel.
Yeah, I agree.
And in fact, the thing which you mentioned, that you were very patient in the class and always made to sit outside, stand on the table and like this. I recall the days of my son. In the childhood, he was in Mount St. Mary in Delhi, and he was so impatient in the class. वो पड़ोस के बच्चे को वो disturb कर देगा, and he will always be caught. And once he is caught, he is sent out. Because he was not able to hide himself. And that is where, and this happened till the time, I think, till 10th class, we always used to get complained whenever we went for the parent-teacher meeting. So it happens. So, Brigadier Thakur, generally, by the time you reach 9th class, every teenager has some dream. And that dream, you carry it in your life. But actually what happens is basically that you dream of, and as we say that human proposes, but the God disposes. What exactly happened in your case? Because you were very fond of playing hockey, but finally you landed up to become a para-special force.
Yeah, that's my initially, seeing my father. My father came from a very rich family, his father was a very big businessman in South India. And and he wanted to become a commercial pilot. So my grandfather told him that, see, pilot and all is okay, but who's going to run this business for? So he said, no, I want to fly. So he said, okay, I'll send you to Pune. So he sent my father to Pune, and he flew there, and he got his student's pilot license in those years. And so my grandfather told him, see, now you have done about 200 hours of flying. So now you come back and we will again see what we can do. So my father got down en route, and he ran away to someone told him in that train that you can become a pilot. You join the Indian Air. So he went and joined the Indian Air, and he joined as an airman. And his father died of heart attack. That my son, and I am such a big man, and my son has run away. The eldest son. They were 4 children. So he was the eldest. So he ran away. So that guilt, when he realized he made a mistake, he said, I will not leave Indian Air. He said, this is my repentance. So 33 years he served. I think in the last 15 odd years, he got commissioned also as an officer. So, but this was his repentance. So, but that was my initial dream, that I will become a pilot like my father. Then midway, I realized that, it's too technical. So I said, I will take something which is easy in life. So I said, and the sports and all that. So I said, I will join I want to play in the Indian Olympic team. This was my dream in 8th standard. And you won't believe it, Colonel Raghav, morning 4 hours, evening 4 hours. So before the school, that is, I used to join immediately after the whatever assembly was over. And in the last 2 periods, so 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the evening, day in and day out. I used to just dream of playing for India in the Olympic team. So I played for the state, district, state, you name, all India schools, university. I played everywhere for every club, whoever gave me a chance. And morning and evening I used to, and last 1 month I used to study and pass and go to the next class. So there was hardly any knowledge gaining as far as academics was concerned. And the principal, everyone knew that he wants to play for the country. So everyone gave me whatever they due. But somewhere I realized that there is too much of politics. So people told me, why don't you join the services? So you come from the services side, because there is a lot of politics in the states when they make their team. So I played for Punjab University, I played for Madras University, I used to play for Tamil Nadu State also. But everywhere there were politics. Just to give you a small example, Colonel Raghav.
Yeah.
You see these children, the young players who are playing. There is a lot of pull and push from behind the scenes. What you are seeing is just 11 players. Just to give you an example, make the children and our youth understand also. I told my coach, when I was playing,
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I told the Punjab University coach that, sir, wo do bande jo hain, they are very good. Why you are making them sit on the bench? He said, yeah, you concentrate on your game. Don't interfere. So I told him, sir, we will lose the match next match. So he said, yeah, you please. He realized that I am a little upset. So what he did, next match, he made me sit out. And there was no reason for him to make me sit out. So I sat out, and when the team was not doing well, in the last 5 minutes, you put me back inside. Now the public is watching, so they also could see that he didn't make me play. Then he brought me to play after they made a lot of noise in the stadium that why aren't you putting that guy to play? So he put me in the last 5 minutes, and when he put me in the last 5 minutes, it takes time for the eye to set. So in that 5 minutes, there was a goal which was scored against us, and we lost that match. That is the time my eyes opened that in an individual game, these factors don't matter. But in a team game, it is not only you, it is the team also, the politics within the team, and also your manager. And there is a lot of setup other than the manager who are managing everything. There's a lot which goes on behind. And so it is just not left to the player. Even if he is good, he may be not put in the 11. To give you another example, there was one more coach who made me sit out for the complete tournament. So the guys asked me, "Yaar, you didn't get selected." I said, "Sir, मेरे को उन्होंने खिलाया नहीं." So that is another aspect. The selection team will not get to see you, even though you may be good, because someone feels that you have not heard him out, listened, whatever. So there is a lot of politics. So I joined the services, and I came from the services, but I played. But there was a problem over there. When I joined the Indian Military Academy, the commandant told me that, son, you can't play. Unlike if you are joined as a Jawan, you can play during your training period. But as an officer, you cannot play during your pre-commission period. So 1.5 years I lost because of that. And that is when I realized that though still I joined the Bihar regiment because there were 3 Olympians in 5 Bihar. But after playing for 2 years, and I realized that I need to give up the game. And that is how then I joined 9 Para Special Force.
So, Brigadier Thakur, of course, you eventually went to the Indian Military Academy. You must have gone through the SSB. So, this experience of playing the troop game, which is a very important part of life, you learned a lot. How does that troop game help you in clearing that SSB? If you can recall, I'm sure this must have helped.
Of course. This, in retrospect, I felt that my personality today is thanks to the troop game. If it was an individual game, the amount of the EQ level of ours is very good. That is one aspect where everybody is not equal. So there are some good, some bad, whatever, but the team has to carry whoever is playing in that playing level. That is one aspect I learned. So you cannot expect the best out of even the best on a given day. He may play a little low, as you have seen, Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar. They also fail on days. Yes. So you have to take them with you. Tomorrow they will succeed. Day after they will succeed, like Virat did in the final. So you have to give everybody a chance. So that is one aspect I learned. The second aspect I learned is that it is a give and take life. Some days you give, some days you take. And also you take losses in your stride. This is one aspect which is a very important lesson. People don't learn how to lose. In a troop game, you learn how to lose. In the other games, you feel that in an individual game, you feel, oh, my service is bad, or my baseline game is bad, or something like that. And you get a coach, you get an international coach, you hire them, you learn. Here you realize it is not, everything is not in your hand. There are extra criminal activities which is taking place, which is beyond your control. You accept fate, you accept destiny, you accept certain things, handicaps, and you continue playing with the same spirit. It does not pull you down. In fact, you learn to give off your best, and the days when you lose, you take it in your stride. Next day or after 2 days, you are bang on there, or maybe a notch higher. So my personality, where I have never accepted defeat and been very, very positive in all circumstances, situations, conditions, is because of the learning of troop game.
And which was your SSB?
Yeah, I went to Allahabad, and as usual, I was playing an inter-university down in the south, and during the thing, I got a call from my father that you have to go. So I got the message in the evening through my coach, and so we went to Allahabad. So there was no preparation, there was nothing. So I had asked my father what to do. He said nothing. The services will do whatever they have to do. You just give your best, be true to yourself, and whatever they ask, you say. And that is what SSB is all about. A little bit of mentoring, coaching is there, but if it is inborn, if you have it in you, you don't need any coaching. Yeah, you need some mentoring. You need to know which aspect of yours is to be highlighted. So my SSB, I went over there. It was a cakewalk. I whatever it was, whether it was a psychological or it was the physical or it was debating or it was public speaking, whatever it was, because of the confidence of playing, the games and in at a good level. So my personality just came out. So people were happy with me, and so it went like a shot. Thanks to the sports and games, which my father also encouraged.
So any one important aspect of SSB you would like to highlight for our viewers who must be aspiring to become an army officer or the defense officer? Any one aspect which is important you feel now?
Yeah, I feel you have to be true to yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot hide anything. Whatever the GTO, whoever is the SSB officer, whoever is your assessment officer, anybody who asks you anything, you give him, you mull over it for about 30 odd seconds, 1 minute or whatever you want to take. But after that, you give him genuinely, truthfully what you feel. It may be right, it may be wrong. As far as you are concerned, it is correct. And so with that conviction, you say, because they are not looking at you, they are not looking at you to be an IAS officer or current affairs or general knowledge. No, they are basically looking at your personality, whether you will be a good leader. So if you know what the armed forces are looking for, you really don't have to struggle. It is your life, it is your personality with which they are looking, and they're trying to gauge how you will react in various situations. They have to gauge, and the psychological officers are there. They're doing their bit. The SSB officers, the GTOs, they're trying to take out from what you are trying to, due to your inhibition, maybe you're not speaking. You be natural, you be genuine, you be truthful, and you help out all your people. Whenever their turn comes, then you try and help them out. So what happens is, not only you are comfortable, you are making others comfortable. Everything is a team game. So those 5-6 days of the interview, I think it was 4 days of interview, went off very well. I not only gave my best like a team, I also tried and helped whoever asked me whatever, and helped them in various.
What one thing you said, Thakur, that truthfulness to yourself, basically the integrity to yourself. So whatever you think, whatever you say, and whatever you do on ground, all three should be in the harmony, and that is what they are looking. Right. You can't be manipulative. And the
very right.
best part of the SSB is to bring out what you are thinking, what you are saying, and what you are doing on ground. And this is what they see through the picture, through the group task, and making you to lecturate another thing. So perfect. If you are truthful to yourself, you will make up the mark.
Very right, Colonel Raghav. You have to be in sync with what you are thinking, or what you are speaking, and then what you are doing. These three things, if they are in sync throughout your life, others may not like you. It does not matter. You don't have to hide anything. It is better to say it upfront and leave it at that. So you're right.
So after that, you must have gone to join the Indian Military Academy. So how was your experience? Because you have been a sportsman, and sportsmen are really they know how to deal with the people. So how has been your experience throughout the year?
Yeah, the 1.5 years I spent in Indian Military Academy, I was physically very fit, actually very robust. And so the 10 kilometers and at that time we had the 2-mile race, and all, physical activities, firing, I really enjoyed. It was like we draw our lineage, Colonel Raghav, from Rana Pratap. My ancestors, they were soldiers with Rana Pratap, and even so it was like a dream come true. When I came to IMA, I realized that this is where I have to be, and if it was anywhere else, I would not have been happy. So it came out during the Indian Military Academy training. Everywhere I was smiling, I was jumping, I was really very happy. Anything, I used to be helping out everybody. So tirelessly 1.5 years, I enjoyed every bit. And the instructors and all the ustads, everybody helped me and cheered me on that, yeah, you can see that the person is very happy coming into the armed forces. And I was not struggling anywhere. So I really enjoyed my the period at Indian Military Academy. I really enjoyed, and because I saw my father for whatever period, so I knew that it was not an easy life, a very disciplined life. So whatever time you have to get up early in the morning, whatever time you have to go, all the physical activities, the battle fatigues, the battle training, all those obstacle courses and all the physical training, and the way the seniors treat you, try and teach you, all of it I absorbed very well. So my aim at IMA was not to do well and come up in the merit or something like that. It was to just soak up all the knowledge which I was getting.
Good. In fact, one thing which you mentioned about you being from lineage of Maharana Pratap, let me also confess, I too being Rajputs, and my forefathers, though we are born and brought up in UP, but we also came out from the Rajasthan only, and again the lineage of Maharana Pratap.
Oh, so nice to hear that.
We are again we are Thakur. We don't write Thakur, but we are Thakur only, otherwise called there.
Okay, very nice. Very nice to know that. Very
People
nice.
used to address you Thakur Sahab.
Okay, very nice.
So you were para-opti in the academy itself, or it happened later?
No, sir. I wanted to play hockey give myself about 2 years. So I said, let me give it one more try. So I asked, at the academy, so what do I do? So they said, you want to go, we will send you to ASC. ASC has a very good hockey team. I said, no, sir, you only play for 1 or 2 years. After that, what do you do? So I don't want, so I want a fighting arm. So they said, you join infantry. So I had opted for infantry. All 3 choices of mine were infantry. And the first one was Bihar, because Bihar had large number of Olympians. So they were Dung Dung, Manohar Topno, Sushil Topno. So I said, send me to a battalion which has a good hockey. So I came to 5 Bihar. I opted for 5 Bihar. They sent me to 5. I joined them, but when I joined the battalion was moving to Siachen. So the full 2 years plus I spent there in Siachen, Leh, Ladakh areas.
Oh. So how was the tenure Siachen का थोड़ा सा बताओ, because जो हमारे viewers हैं ना, सबको नहीं पता होगा कि जो hardship और vagaries of weather वहाँ होती है, किस तरीके से एक soldier को वहाँ जिंदगी जीनी पड़ती है, थोड़ा सा यदि idea दोगे तो I think people will get it.
Yeah, Leh Ladakh is a very beautiful place. Every citizen must go and see Leh and Ladakh. It's really beautiful. Every mountain has got a different hue and color, and there is a limited amount of oxygen over there. But after you are acclimatized, spend 3-4 days, you will be able to walk around, run around like anybody else. So there, of course, they say that in the land of lamas, don't become a Gama. Everywhere it is written because of the rarity of the atmosphere over there. The ultraviolet rays also are very strong. But having said that, the people are very nice in Leh Ladakh area. So generally what happens is you come to Leh Ladakh area, you spend about 1.5 years in those, you get acclimatized to those high altitude mountains, you do various exercises and all that, get used to the cold. The winters of Leh Ladakh, very severe, very severe. They go right up to your bones. So but if you are carrying out physical activity every day, so that is how you don't have a problem. So about 1.5 years or so, after about 1 year, then the battalion is sent up and you occupy all the higher areas, the Siachen areas. You go through the base camp, and so when I was one incident happened that General Saklani, who was GOC PDEF, so he had come visiting our battalion, and our CO said that he plays good hockey. So he said, wow, that's a very good thing. What is he doing here? Tell him to take the 3-div team, go to Srinagar. There's an inter-div, tournament going on. So see, destiny that it just so happened that, I met him and I introduced by RCO, Colonel VK Aluwalia, and he sent me overnight, and we just, in the evening selected a team. We had not played for 1 year, and we just took a team. I went to Srinagar. We won the tournament tournament over there. They went to the corps, and then the same, they made me the captain, and then the command, they made me the captain of that team. And for the first time, Northern Command won, even till date, it has not happened. The Northern Command, we won the services champion. So that was 1 year from Leh Ladakh. Overnight went, and I came back after I think after about 4.5 months or 5 months of playing key continuously. So I came back. The battalion was still deployed in Siachen. So when I was going towards the base camp, our one ton in which I was traveling, that had developed a problem. So as usual, youngsters, so we pushed the vehicle, went across to a village about 3-4 kilometers away, got some help and all that, and then we came back to the brigade headquarters from where we had gone. So that activity, I think I developed HAPO because without acclimatization I was going, and so I reached the base camp, but from base camp, I was evacuated and came to military hospital Leh, and after treatment over there, they wanted to downgrade me. I somehow pleaded with the staff over there that, sir, please don't do that. I just require a little bit of rest and send me back. So I managed not to get get downgraded. Otherwise, my tenure over there would have. So they told me minimum 30 days you go down. So 30 days leave I took and came back and walked. This time I took all the acclimatization I did and walked all the way up. And my CO he said, "Yeah, you do pagal hai, you very walked up all. You should have stayed down." I said, "No, sir. How can I stay down when the battalion is deployed?" So Siachen and Leh Ladakh areas, it is basically mental strength. When the sun starts going down and early morning, generally you have to have it in you to bear the cold over there. It is in severe temperature, but with physical activity, daily physical activity, there is no problem. Absolutely. We were walking in Siachen, we were walking in the base camp, we were walking all over Leh Ladakh, carried out so many exercises day and night, and so it just 2 years plus we were in those areas, and I felt it was if you have it in you, that is, if you are mentally you have it in you, you don't have a problem. You don't.
I agree with that. And that another very important point जो आपने mention किया, even the army personnel, those who listen this podcast, so long as you are working out on yourself, you are doing exercises, you don't need anything. You can work in any environment, and I subscribe to that. I have gone through that. I have stayed in Dras, I have stayed in Leh, Kargil, Khumbathang, and Nimu and all. In the worst of it, morning में एक बार 10 किलोमीटर jogging कर लो, stretching exercise कर लो, the day will go perfectly. And I used to do that.
Very right.
I used to do that. Morning में सुबह PT, no PT, you do your workout, you do your running, and then you can combat that cold also. At the same time, you will remain fit also. And I have been teetotaler, absolute teetotaler throughout my army. Like people go with the idea that without drinking or smoking, you cannot stay in the high altitude. It's all bullshit. I went shape one, I came back shape one, despite serving in all kind of environment.
Yeah, drinking doesn't help at all, because in those high altitude areas, it pulls you down.
Yeah, it pulls you down. The only thing which can help you is working out. Exercise is the only thing which can keep you fit.
Yes, very nice.
So, एक ये बड़ी important point है सुनने वालों के लिए कि आप हाइपो से अफेक्ट होके वापस आ गए, और हाइपो वाले को दोबारा वापस जाना, वो भी सियाचिन जैसी जगह, there has to be some mental toughness, मतलब thought process. क्या ऐसा दिमाग में था कि नहीं, come what may, I will go to the Siachen?
Yeah, I was shocked that I got HAPO because my RMO said your tongue is becoming purple. That is the way, you come to know. Otherwise, I myself did not feel. So he told me your tongue is becoming, purple. He spoke to the CO, and CO said, what is the problem? He said, sir, he needs to be evacuated. There's water in his lungs, and his lungs will collapse. So I did not know anything. So they evacuated me. I went to Leh, and so even there also I felt there's nothing wrong. These buggers just want to, tell me to, go out from these areas. My CO was very protective. Generally, all COs are very protective of youngsters. कि ये यार ये कुछ भी कर देगा. So even during the, 1.5 years of preparing for going to Siachen, to keep me busy, because I used to tell him, sir, क्या कोई training नहीं कर रहे हैं, कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे हैं. So my CO and my 2IC was one Colonel Bharat Singh. He was from Mainpuri area, very fine gentleman. So both of them used to say that, Thakur, you see that mountain, and they used to show me somewhere 10 kilometers away. उस पहाड़ पर जो है ना जाकर फोटो खींच कर, और you go and do this or you go and do that. So every day they used to send me to the furthest mountain, and they used to give me one guy. So both of us used to early morning at 6 o'clock start off, and we used to come back around just before last night or around last. Every day I did this. So they used to say, "हाँ भाई ये क्या हुआ वो." They were least interested in what I was doing, but they just kept me busy. So that also helped me, and they basically prepared 3-4 of us in such a type of a thing, that in case in Siachen you have to go from one post to another or some problem and things like that. So they prepared me. So I was shocked when I had HAPO. So I was quite certain there is nothing known as HAPO. I had never heard also of HAPO. So when the doctors told me, I said, I know there is no problem. Even if there is a problem, it will self-heal. You just send me back. So I wanted to go from Leh direct to Siachen back. And they said, no, at least 30 days you go down. So I think I must have spent about 2 odd weeks, and I came back. So I said, sir, it is now time to go. So they somehow kept me another 2 weeks, and then they spoke to our CO. CO said, yeah, okay, send him. Don't worry, you will not be able to keep him. So and this time I walked all the way and did my complete acclimatization. So I had no problem. When I reached Siachen, I walked up. So my CO he said, yeah, you're very hell of a chap. So he said, today onwards, you will be my adjutant. So he kept me as his adjutant. He didn't allow me to go to, so I was in the main TAC headquarters at Kumar, and he was there. Then he said, no, now you go down to the base camp to be the admin officer. So I was the admin officer over there till the battalion was deployed on top. And then he said, there is a problem in Khardungla Pass. So the brigade wants, so for 6 months, then I went to Khardungla Pass. I was the officer who cleared the convoys which came from this side or that side. So that pass is closed generally during winters. So to keep it open, so we had bulldozers. And so generally everybody knew that to keep this guy occupied, you have to give him something. So that is how as a youngster I was.
Viewers, जो वीर ठाकुर ने खरदुंगला पास के बारे में जो बताया, आई मस्ट टेल यू, इट इज द वर्ल्ड हाईएस्ट मोटरेबल पास. वहाँ 10 मिनट भी रुकना इज सो डिफिकल्ट, एंड दैट इज वेयर ही हैज डन द ड्यूटीज. बिकॉज जो हवा वहाँ चलती है, जो टेम्परेचर वहाँ होता है, और इट्स ऑल बैरन, देयर इज नो वेजिटेशन. सो अच्छा, ये आपने जो 1 महीने की छुट्टी थी हाइपो के बाद में, वो कहाँ काटी?
वो I came down, I think I came down to meet some friends in Chandigarh, because I had studied in DAV Chandigarh. Okay. So I spent, whatever 2-3 weeks there itself, and then took the flight back.
Then बिहार में ये सारा कुछ करने के बाद, how this that SF, para SF happened? I'm sure you must have struggled with that also.
Yeah, I realized my 2 years when I was with infantry, the CO should not have, in retrospect, should not have made me the adjutant. He should have kept me as a whatever officer, and so he made me the adjutant. So I said, now he's trying to protect me, and now so I felt that it's not very challenging, and I love challenges. I like to get out of my comfort zone. Every day I make it a point to get out of my comfort zone. I would like to do something which I am not aware of. I don't know, I am embarrassed. So that type of a work I like to do even today. So there I felt that now the CO has made me the adjutant. Now he made me the adjutant. So isse aur kya chahiye? Kuch hai hi nahi. What do I achieve over here? So I told my CO, sir, I want to go to Para SF. I believe Sri Lanka, there is a problem brewing over there, and Para SF is going to Sri Lanka. They're being flown over there. He said, are you mad? What do you infantry is any day better than special forces? Special forces nahi, wo aise bloody useless guys yaar. Ye hai commando, to yahan tum bano. He said, "Tu kya karega wahan par? You be here only." He did not. He just said, and he called the 2IC. 2IC had big mustaches, He said, "Sir, ghabrao mat, main kahin nahi jayega ye." I said, "Sir, please jaane do." So they didn't sign my volunteer, certificate. They just tore it and threw it. Every day I used to take a fresh one and they used to throw it out. Get out from here. You are staying here only. Yeah, tumhara. So one day it so happened, we had gone and they had made me the train officer. So we were in Jammu and so that we were all the officers had gone on leave because of our hard tenure. We were in Jammu transit camp and the battalion was deployed over there waiting for the train to come. So every day running here there, and so there was a 3IC. So I asked him one day, "Sir, aap थोड़े से morale down है आपका?" He said, "Yeah, I spent my whole life here. Now when my time has come to command, they are sending me off to another unit." So I said, "Sir, आप तो जा रहे हो, मेरा volunteer certificate कर दो." So he said, "लेकर आप, मैं sign करता हूँ." So he was the officiating CO and I was the only officer. Rest all were on leave. So he signed it and he told me that in case you tell anybody, they'll kill me. I said, no, sir, don't worry, I'll not tell anybody. So it just so happened in 1 month, that signal came. We were just touched and the signal came that, I've been posted to 9 para SF. And the CO and 2C all are jumping. How that happened? How that happened? We didn't sign it and they sent signals to MS Ban. The MS Ban said, "No, whatever it is, he is going." So overnight, I flew. I went to 9 para SF and they were deployed in Jaffna. That
in fact, जो point आपने एक बोला ना बीच में कि if you have it in you, it will happen. And your thought process was that you can't be chair bound. You have to be in the action.
Yeah.
Whether it is Siachen or whether it is Sri Lanka, no matter what, you have to be in the action. And by some way or other, you got your form signed and finally landed. So how para SF officer supposed to undergo the probation, 3 months mandatory probation, and unless you pass that, you are not made the para officer. So how that part?
Yeah, that sir, it is actually 6 months. Earlier it was 3 months, then it is 6 months. So 6 months of continuous day and out you are, and it is done by the men, not by officers. We let the men decide whether the officer is fit to be part of the unit. So there are JCOs and NCOs. There is a team, the probation team, and so that happens, and it is very difficult. The rejection rate is very high, nearly 90% rejection rate is there. Basically, the officer rejects himself over a period of time. So in case he's still there at the end of 6 months, then a board sits down and along with the men and all, and they decide whether to retain him or not. But in operations, it's a different matter. In operations, they give him operation. They send him for various troop level, operation. That is a platoon level operation. And in that, the men speak up and say whether whatever it is, whether he, because it is, testing by fire, by live fire. So there, from my first operation onwards, when, I was there, so they realized that, it comes very naturally to him. So for very independent tasks, I was sent in various areas. I went and I used to come back and the men used to say that, "Sir, we were fired upon." And I remember my first operation, we were to go through thick jungles and carry out surveillance in an area. So what happened, en route elephants came. So I held the men back. I said, "Nobody will fire." And we waited for the herd of elephants to move away. So when they went away, then we were going and I saw a torchlight. So I told the men, "No militant will have a torch. So there is no way you are going to open fire. So we will skirt this person who is there and we will go." So when we were skirting, he fired at us. So it was a 12 bore. I realized it is a 12 bore and he was constantly firing at us. I told my men, there is no way, this guy is a civilian. You will not touch, you will not retaliate. He should think, because he thought he is firing on elephants. He didn't know it was, a body of troops which is going. Pitch dark night, generally, there is no way we don't use torchlights or anything like that at night ever. So we just so it was a detour and we went bypassed him, and then when we went so when we came back, the commanding officer asked the men, and the men this was my first operation. So men told him that, "Sir, you got a gem. The guy didn't open fire. If it was anybody else, we would have killed those civilians because they were firing at us." And then one guy fired, then another guy fired, and then the whole group group of those hamlets, they were firing at us, but we kept our cool, and this guy told us there is no way, they all. So we took a detour of 2-3 kilometers and we went on to our mission. So the commanding officer then was very happy, and he hugged me and he said that I am very happy and that we found a job. So, and our 9 Para SF, we are mountain command. So he said that you have served in Siachen. So as far as we are concerned, we have selected. I have selected. So in operations, it is your probation is by fire.
And who was the commanding officer that time?
So General Tej Pathak was it.
How was he?
So Tej Pathak, as a CEO for 4 years, he was a gem of a person. Very, very sharp, and people loved him. And he was a person who can walk up to anybody and say whoever, whatever. He had 2-3 shirt buttons open, as a commanding officer. So if any order is given which is not good for the battalion, he used to walk up and say, no sir, this can't be done, this can be done, whatever. Very, very sophisticated, very intelligent, and he can speak his heart out, and very good with the men, very good commander, very bold, very courageous. He gave us a lot of freedom to operate. He never told us, he just gave us directions. He didn't try and keep controlling. I remember one operation, sir, we had when we followed the militants from Jaffna, they had fled, and they had entered the jungles, far east jungles in Babunia. So we had tracked them, and General Nanavati was the commander, SF commander, Special Forces commander at that time. Yes, sir. For a short time, we had nobody. So the army had put General Nanavati at that time. He was a brigadier. So he came as a SF commander. So they had planned Special Forces, operations before the army goes in. So a number of them were planned. So in one of them, we went and hit into a camp, which was very well planned, meticulously planned by General Nanavati. So in that operation, we came by hectares, we dropped the night, whole night we walked, and we hit the camp early in the morning. So when we hit the camp early in the morning, my commanding officer, General Tej Pathak, told me, and I had gone with just 5 men. We had tracked them. We had a contact and everybody scattered. All the militants, they scattered. So he said, I want them pursued. So you track them and go and find out. They would have gone into a bigger camp. So everybody returned. I did not return. I for 4, 5, 6 hours, I followed them and I hit that camp. So when I hit that camp and we had a firefight and all, and we killed some guys and armed militants and all. So I told the CEO that, sir, I will stay here. He said, I don't know where the hell you are, and you have no support. You're just 5 of you, and this firing starts, and they are very large numbers. So you fall back. I said, no, sir, I will not fall back. I have killed armed militants. They're lying in front of me, and they will come now for them. And when they come, I want to kill more armed militants. So I am not going from. So he said, you're mad. You did get me court-martial. I want 5 of you. I don't know what will happen at night. He tried his best, sir. I said, no way. I am not moving out from here. So, and he is not that type of a CEO who can't take a no from a youngster. That's what I loved out. If you're saying no, then he tries and understands why you're saying. I told him, sir, operationally, you come and link up with. You send your troops. I am on the site and the camp is in front of me. I want to hit this camp early in the morning or in the night. When I get a chance, I'm going to. He said, you bloody chaps, you're just 5 of. I said, sir, they don't know we are 5. He said, yeah, you have a point, but you bloody get killed. I said, sir, that will not happen. Don't worry. So we stayed the night over there in spite of him shouting, yelling. I said, no way, I am not coming back. So in the whole night we were awake, and early in the morning we rushed that camp, and all of them ran away. There were 20, 30 militants, armed militants. They ran away. They left their whole camp. I burned their camp. I took photographs, everything. I burned their camp. And then I extricated on my own. That is 5 of us. We extricated. And my team, which was about another 45 odd, officers, men and officers, they were also looking for me. And so we linked up. And that is when I realized that, the commanding officer, though he used to put up a very bold front, he had a soft side also. So I told him that, sir, he said, yeah, bloody chap, they could have, I said, sir, we were away. If they would have come, you are aware, if a moving body is more vulnerable than a static body. I said, I'm not moving. I am static. Now, wherever side they come, we'll get them. So I was very confident as a young officer, a young captain of 3 years of service. So I liked General Tejpata. Very fine.
Wonderful. And you talked about General Nanavati. No wonder. I didn't know that he has been the Para Special Forces, because I remember in 1999 or 98, when he came for our Adam inspection in Limacom. I was posted in 57 days in Limacom.
Okay.
So we used to wonder why he always carrying a small bag. So somebody told us that wherever he goes for the field, he always carries one chain, some sakar pares, and one pistol inside. He always carries. So that is the learning from the SF only, that you are self-contained for a day.
Sir, you won't imagine. He realized I can speak Tamil. I can read and write Tamil, because I told you that we came to Raja of Mysore, and when we finished our whatever our ancestors, he gave us pattas of land in bordering Andhra and Tamil Nadu. That is how I am still in the south. So I utilized this knowledge, language skill of mine. So I used to quickly find out from the civilians what is happening, where is happening, anything in the night, any movement. They used to tell me very clearly. So General Nanavati number of times came with me with just one Gurkha soldier.
Oh.
And he said, you take it that I am not there with you. I am not saying any. He never uttered a word. Whenever a young captain, and he was such a senior officer, he used to be somewhere in the, in between. And he used to never ever say, you do this or do you do that. Never. So that bonding I had with him. So when he became the Army Commando also, I was the two eyes. Very fine gentleman. We respected him. Yeah.
Very fine. I have also seen him. Very fine.
Yeah.
So what stage you finally you got your Balidan and became a para officer?
Yeah. So after 1 year, sir, they after about 6 months, they picked me. They gave me the maroon beret. We were in Babunia at that time. So General Tejpata, he said in fact, it was so many operations we already had carried out, and he was very happy. So he told me, see, we are not doing anything official. We are not formally testing you. Everything we have seen of you. I don't need to, go into all that. Tomorrow morning, if I told him that, I'm not happy. So he said, why? What's wrong? I said, firstly, you are a mad. You keep shouting. This is not the way to shout. And I had this 3 years of service. He said, I told him, this is an operational area. You cannot shout at us like. You have to keep your cool. So he said, no, I am doing my duty. This is as a commanding officer. So young boys at my age, when you are 3 years of service, 3 years of service is no service. And in an operational area, young officers bond a lot with the men. So I had bonded with the men. And so if the men told me that, sir, we have just come back from operations, again, how can you go for operations? And also I used to be, livid. Sir, how can you again send us for operation? But so it used to come. So he used to try his best to give us a day off, 2 days off, 5 days off, whatever was the requirement. But he was a man who spoke his heart out. He was known, everybody knows about him. He used to shout, and people like us, we used to not even bat an eyelid. I used to look at him back and said, please don't shout. So I told him, sir, you are a madman. I am coming from a battalion where the commanding officer spoke so softly to me, and you're shouting, and I can outshout you. So I thought he's going to, throw me out when my probation is over. So he walked up to me evening prior, and he hugged me and he said, you are a wonderful person. You are a rebel. Keep shouting back at me, and I am shouting at you. But I have accepted you. The battalion has accepted you from the bottom of our heart. Tomorrow morning, and we were on the airfield, Babunia airfield, we were deployed in Sri Lanka. So he said, tomorrow morning, if you want, you can walk across 7 o'clock. There are flights which go to Chennai. So you can fly out. But if you come for breakfast, we take it that you have decided to stay with us. So that was how my probation took place. So I forgot the whole thing. I never keep anything in my heart. So next day, I just walked up to the mess to have my breakfast, and everyone was there, and they congratulated me, and they said, thank you for accepting and staying back. I said, sir, I forgot. So that was my probation. probation. I said, sir, I forgot that, you had told me that if you come for breakfast, then you're going to stay back. So he asked me, what was the problem? Why you didn't want to stay back? I said, sir, this thing is that I had thought when I had come from an infantry battalion that the world's best equipment you will have. You don't have. You have just about 20% of the equipment. That was my crib. So he said, you don't worry. We will get whatever we want. And sure enough, when he went to, MO and everywhere, and he was our proponent everywhere, he wrote papers, and he and General Nanavati, everyone. So the unit and all the special forces units today have the best of it.
So when did you do your jump and all?
Yes, sir. In 89, then I went after having served for about 1 year in the unit in Sri Lanka. So I went for 1 month to Agra, and I did my jumps and came back to Sri Lanka.
And marooning was done beforehand only?
Yes, the marooning is done. The Balidan badge they give you after you have done your. So marooning is done, because they have to accept you. You only wear maroon beret. Wings are not given to you. The wing is given after you have done your jump. So you get your para pay, your everything else after you have done your. So generally after the probation you are sent off, but there we were deployed in Sri Lanka. So after 1 year, I went. Then by then General Leader had come. He had come as the CO.
Okay.
Yes, sir. HS Leader. He was a CO.
Okay. Achha, he also been part of 9 Para.
Yes, sir. He commanded 9 Paras.
He has his flat in again Devendra Vihar.
Devendra Vihar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is in the same block where I have my.
Very nice. Very nice. Very fine person. Very fine. He was the complete opposite of General Tej Pathak. Very soft spoken, but a lot of, he was you can say a spiritual soldier. He used to meditate, and he used to be very crystal clear. It was not that he listened to everybody. So so the battalion continued to do extremely well. That whatever General Tej Pathak had done, he had trained the battalion and he brought it up to the level, and he left it at a pitch at which General Leader took it further.
One thing which you said, Brigadier Thakur, that General Leader was just opposite of General Tej Pathak.
Yes.
Everyone has some uniqueness in himself. Everyone is a unique personality but at the end of the day, sabka goal ek hi. Ultimate aim is the same. You are a unique in yourself, but जो मैंने पैरा स्पेशल फोर्सेस के जितने लोगों को अभी तक इंटरेक्ट किया है, उनका अल्टीमेट गोल एक ही होता है, मिशन अकम्प्लीट.
Yes, sir. Very right. Absolutely. वो बलिदान हम पहनते हैं, sir. You have to, if required, you sacrifice yourself to ensure the mission comes first, always and every time.
Yes.
So that reminds us, and it is made of blood red. So it means if required, you will sacrifice yourself.
Yes. And when you did the jump, I think everyone has some kind of unique experience. Would you like to share something?
Yeah, I really enjoyed paratrooping because when you are up in the skies of thousands of meters up, and when you jump out from firstly, when you stand there, you ask yourself, what the hell are you doing here? Because all said and done, you don't want your back or your knees or your shin or anything to be damaged or cracked, because paratrooping is something which anything can happen. But today's paratrooping is very safe. The parachutes are the best modern parachute, and they're maneuverable parachute. You don't get a jerk on your back, what used to happen in earlier days. So when you jump out of the aircraft and when the parachute deploys, you feel that you are like a huge bird, flying in the sky, and there's complete silence, and you are seeing the earth from the top, a bird's view, which is said. It is an experience which you really enjoy. That is one. But more than that is the challenge. Now, those who want to be challenged to the extreme, then paratrooping is a very good sport to undertake. It challenges you. It takes you out of your comfort zone. So from that point of view, paratrooping is very good. It when you jump out of an aircraft and when the aircraft is going at a speed, it has to maintain its speed. So you realize that it's an extreme sport. Though there are so many sports which are more dangerous than paratrooping, but this experience gives you a kick. It gives you a confidence that you are folding the parachute yourself. You're tying it up yourself. So that confidence of tying and doing everything and then checking for yourself. Nobody is coming and checking. You are checking it yourself. So when you wear your helmet, when you wear your, and your emergency parachute in the front and the main parachute at the back, and you follow all the drills and all that, but everywhere it is your confidence. So your confidence that whatever you're doing, you're listening, you're in sync, you're cool and calm, and you come and land and you're safe. You realize you can do a lot in life. So from that point of view, parachuting is an important exercise to undertake. That is why you have volunteers in the parachute.
In fact, जो एक आपने चीज बोली ना कि आपको ही पैरासूट पैक करना है, आपको ही चेक करना है, आपको ही उसको बांधना है. So you know what it teaches you? Your life is your responsibility, your obligation, your duty towards your success. Nobody else is responsible.
Yeah, very nice. Absolutely. You have to take responsibility.
For
Everyone
yourself.
is, everybody that no, because of so and so I failed, because of so and so I failed. No, you have failed or you have succeeded in life is only because of you. Your actions and what you have said. Absolutely.
And the day you realize this, especially for the viewers, the day you accept this, that you are responsible for everything, whatever happening around you, you will succeed. But so long as you will keep blaming and keep complaining, I call it a CBE, complaining, blaming, and excuse. Unless you come out of this CBE, you cannot succeed. You stop complaining, stop blaming, and stop giving excuses. Either you can give excuse or you can get the result.
Very well said.
एक चीज जो ब्रिगेडियर ठाकुर जो मेरे थॉट में आई कि जब आप फर्स्ट ऑपरेशन जब आपने किया और आपने देखा कि उधर से टॉर्च जली और फिर फायर भी आया, तो आपने रिकॉग्नाइज भी कर लिया कि ये फायर जो है 12 बोर का, और आपने कूल रखा, न खुद फायर किया न दूसरों को फायर. और ये एक EQ का पॉइंट, मतलब यू हैव टू बी वेरी इमोशनली वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. सी देयर इज अ फिजिकल स्ट्रॉन्ग, देयर मेंटल, देन इमोशनल, देन स्पिरिचुअल. सो EQ जो मैंने देखा है कि जब आप प्रोबेशन कर लेते हो तब आप में EQ कूट के भर जाता है. मतलब यू डोंट बिकम ए ट्रिगर हैप्पी, रादर यू बिकम ए वेरी काम, कूल एंड कंसिस्टेंट. यू टेक डिसीजंस आफ्टर लॉट ऑफ बैलेंस्ड माइंड. लेकिन आपने तो तब तक कुछ प्रोबेशन तो किया ही नहीं था, आप तो डायरेक्ट युद्ध में डाल दिया था. तो वो EQ कहाँ से आप में डेवलप हुई? वाज इट बिकॉज ऑफ द सियाचिन एक्सपीरियंस, और ये दिस वाज बिकॉज ऑफ योर जो हॉकी का जो ट्रुप गेम का था? बिकॉज दिस इज अ very important part of. I have seen certain people, जब मैंने इंटरव्यू किया है, इवन पैरा स्पेशल फोर्स के जैसे फर्स्ट फायर आया, उन्होंने पूरी मैगजीन खाली कर. But the way you have explained that despite all these things, you kept your cool and you made your voice. Can you just retrospect, think of now कि क्या ऐसा पॉइंट जिसकी वजह से आप वो बैलेंस नहीं हुए?
बहुत अच्छा चीज पूछा सर आपने. Your mental makeup is very important, and for every situation you have to mentally prepare yourself, and you have to keep wearing cap in every situation, every condition. You can't be wearing the same cap everywhere. So there I had a mental makeup that we are followers of Maharana Rana Pratap. He was a soldier at the highest level, and I was drawing my inspiration from him. So when I went to Siachen, when I went to Sri Lanka, it was in me that I am from the martial race. I have been a soldier earlier in those periods. I have fought number of battles in my previous birth, and now I am continuing to do something which I have been doing. So it is not anything new for me. This was in my heart, in my mind, in my soul, in my body, and I was very clear. So I never breathed hard. If you're breathing hard, even in your day-to-day life, it is an indication that there is something wrong. Either in the atmosphere, in the climate, in that condition, something is wrong, or something is wrong inside you. So breathing hard is an indication you have to take. So I ensured that I never breathed hard ever in any operations, whether it was in Siachen or Sri Lanka or Kashmir or wherever. So when I went over there, I was cool and calm. The first shot itself, when wo charre nikalte hain, I said yes, civilian. But the others who are behind me, wo charre unko sunai nahi diya. A bullet shot is different and a 12 bore shot is different. Though from far both seem the same, but there is a lot of difference. So I was very clear that this is a civilian. So, but there were some soldiers with me who said, sir, the militants carry 12 bore also. So I said, they may be carrying. As far as I am concerned, this is a civilian. And I am ordering nobody will open fire. There is no way. And I was in the forefront. So I said, if anything, you are going to kill me. So you please hold your fire. I will. So I took two guys and I went as close as possible. And I said, I will confirm. It should not happen happened that I have made a mistake that there are militants. So I made my party sit behind, and with two guys, I crawled as close as possible, and I saw the guy. He was a civilian. He was wearing a dhoti, and nothing was on top, and he had a 12 bore in his hand, and he was carrying a torchlight. So we waited over there for half an hour till he went away, and then we crawled back. So I did not take a decision just on that. I said, let me check it out. So we checked it out, then we skirted that area, and then we went across. But this mental makeup, which I told you, sir, is very important. For every situation, you have to wear a hat, and you should decide which is the hat you're wearing. Basically, it is the mental makeup which will make you or break. So you have to be abreast.
So here comes one very pertinent question, especially for my viewers. How one can change, with your experience, you can tell, from fixed mindset. That is a fixed mindset. Fire hua, that means militant hoga hi. But that was not the case. So how one can change that from fixed mindset to the growth mindset, which is always learning, always analyzing the situation, and it's a very important part of life to succeed in life, that you should have a growth mindset, not the fixed mind. Template laga ke nahi rakh. Generally, we always have a template. So that you may like to speak.
Yeah, you very, very good point you have said, sir. Jo template lagata hai, he will grow only up till a point, because the template has been made by somebody.
Yes.
And you don't know who has made the template, with what are the preconditions.
Yes.
You have to make your own template, and you have to keep changing the template, and that is the iteration. So you need a template. Of course, the template is because it will help others follow the template, but the template needs to be changed constantly. Yes. With the inputs you are constantly getting. So, and every situation, every condition is different. So a fixed template does not. You start with a template and you end up something else. So what I feel is that one is, as I mentioned, sir, that you have to breathe normally. And when your breath is normal, then your soul is in the center of your head. I joined, sir, a self-realization society very early in life. As a second lieutenant only, I had joined. Basically, the aim was I wanted to learn meditation. So, and I have been visiting a lot of these temples wherever I could. I used to go climb mountains and go on. So when I joined, I learned there is a Hamsa technique. Hum and Sa. So this is a self-realization society in Ranchi. So I had joined it long back. So it's a breathing technique. And for that, you have to keep your breath normal. If your breath is normal, you will realize the soul, which is the size of a gram, jo kala chana hai, sir. A black gram, that is the size of your soul. And it is when you draw a line from the top and then one vertical and one horizontal line on your head, where it crosses, that is where the soul is located, and not on top. You go down about 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches. Between 1 and 2 inches below is where. That is how when just on top of your, the eyebrows, where everyone puts a bindi, that is where the soul is, but it is not there. It is inside. So the soul is seated. So to ensure and the soul moves, you can move your soul. So if you're breathing normal, your soul is seated. So when the soul is seated, your body is the robo. So the soul is riding this robo. You are not this body. It is the soul which is experiencing everything. Now to breathe normally, the soul is seated, and then the soul will give you direction. The soul is like a super computer. You can feel the energy, the vibrations, and the intellect. The intellect of the universe will travel into your intellect, and you will take correct decisions. Now for this, you have to be cool and calm, whether you are playing a match or you are in operations or you are sitting wherever in your office or wherever. The moment you lose your calm and cool, your intellect is shaken, and then emotions will arise and things.
Yes, very well. So to get all these things, fixed mindset to the growth mindset, or to know about your soul, know about your intellect, you cannot do it at your own. You have to have a mentor in life. Without the mentor, you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, because mentor is the one who has already traveled that path, and that is why he can guide. Mentor is not a teacher. Mentor is not your examiner. Mentor is the one who holds your hand and takes you to traverse on that path which he has already done. So in your case, who has been your mentor? Which
So
guided you to,
when I was, sir, people like us, we come from very humble background.
I know.
So we are looking for, people whom we can make our mentors. So in the initial years, when I had read a, autobiography of a yogi, so from the beginning itself, when I had read this book long back, so Sri Paramhamsa Yogananda, I considered him my mentor. So that is how I learned about meditation, and he had urged people to, join his. So Yogada Satsanga is there. It's a self-realization society in Ranchi, which teaches you. It is Maharishi's, Satsanga. So that is how I joined there. So, and I kept changing my mentors. You have to keep changing your mentor. You cannot be fixed with them. So I had a spiritual mentor. So you need a spiritual mentor. You need a military mentor. You need a professional mentor. It depends on the field where you are. You need a mentor. Without a mentor, you are going nowhere, because the mentor will take you up, and again you take another mentor. He will take you further up. You want to learn something else, you have another mentor. So you don't have to get fixed with one mentor. I feel that you keep as many mentors as you want, and they will take you up.
So who was the military mentor?
Military mentor was I till date I follow him very closely. General Leaders and General Nanavati, both of them I consider my mentors. They guided throughout my service.
Certainly. So, Brigadier Thakur, there are few questions. Those who are very passionate and they are following you regularly, and they have requested me also to ask you those questions. So let me just go over one by one of them has asked. There are few quotes since you are commanded 9 para SF. The one quote is that who cares and who wins. थोड़ा इसके बारे में.
Yes, sir. This was basically a motto has to be, we have a badge, which is the Balidan badge, and we wanted something to motivate our, to give a cue to our young officers and young men. So who cares who wins is what we had thought of. So those who care will win is what we wanted to bring on. Yes, sir. So who cares wins is what we wanted to say. That if you care, you will win. If you don't care, you will not win.
And that is mentioned on Balidan badge?
Yes, sir. We have on it's not mentioned on Balidan, but we draw it as a insignia. Yes, sir. But basically, we write Balidan. In our Balidan badge, it's just written Balidan. But for ourselves, we have drawn this to give a cue to our officers that if you have to care, that means you have to be meticulous in your planning. Meticulous. You can't just bum into an operation.
And
so if you care, you will win.
If I am not wrong, I can interpret in this way also. You care for your man with you.
Yes, very right, absolutely. I would like to mention to our young, viewers that an operation, when we go for an operation, the task is given to us, and when the task has been given to us, you are brainstorming with your men, not with officers. You brainstorm with your men, and you have a board in front of you. You have a sketch, your sketch also you make. You keep your maps in front of you, whatever you want, and everyone is told to speak as much as they want of what they are understanding of the mission of. So constantly, day in and day out, every aspect of that mission you are speaking. So there are no notes written, there are no planning, there is no nothing. You are brainstorming with your men, and only those will participate who are going for them. We don't want anybody from outside, because it is easy to speak. It is very easy. You can say anything you want, but if you are participating in it, you will know what you can do and what you cannot. So you are not speaking for effect. You are speaking with everybody is listening to you. And in that operation, we know what you have done and what you have not done. Because when we come back, we are going to again debrief. Again, we will speak 1 day, 2 days to see who made what mistake. So this type of planning and brainstorming before and after an operation for days together happens. So what happens is there are no orders given. Everyone is a leader in a given situation.
In fact, that is where your second quote comes. The man apart, every man an emperor.
Yes, sir. Any man can be an emperor. It is the situation which will dictate. So where you are located in that battlefield is the most important. It does not matter whether you are an officer, you are a havaldar, you are a Naib, whatever rank. But that person, that ground on which you are standing standing. And if you have used the ground properly, you will be standing at the correct place. And you have to be aware from where the fire is coming, how many people are there, where is the enemy, what is the ground, how is he using it, how you are to use it. It is an appreciation. It is like a football match. I would like to say, touch wood, not a scratch on people like us, not a scratch. In hundreds and hundreds of contacts we have entered in battlefield, battle areas where we have fought the enemy. We are looking the enemy in the eye and constantly reviewing from how many people are deployed, where they are deployed, how is he deployed, why is he deployed. So once you have understood the setup, it is like a football match. You know that if you run to the right, he will run backwards. You go to the left, he will go this. So it is like a chess game. And that is how we have fought them. Everywhere we have made the enemy run. So if you are static, he is also static. You move, he also moves. He has to move. Otherwise, he's out. Otherwise, you are coming from his rear and hitting. So we have made the enemy run time and again.
So basically, man apart means the moment you are alone, you are leader of yourself, and then you take your own decision.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone follows. They support you. They cooperate.
And whatever is the rank and stature doesn't make a difference.
Not at all, sir. We don't ever wear a rank. We don't wear a rank because every person you are कंधे से कंधे मिलकर हमने काम करना है सर. कंधा से कंधा मिलना है. Now if you are a colonel, you are a lieutenant colonel, you are a major, you are a sepoy, it does not matter because everyone is carrying one gun and everyone has to fire at the enemy only. So everybody is equal.
Everyone is emperor.
Everybody is an emperor. Everybody has to think like an emperor.
Another question has come from someone he says how Sri Lanka operations learning changed 9 para asset.
Yeah, very good question, sir. Very good question. Initially we went as a peacekeeping force. So we were told that the accord has been signed and now and the first point of the accord was that the militants will lay down their arms. And the first point itself was not followed. And so the other, that is the Sri Lankan government said that you have come to enforce that the accord is followed. And the first point of the accord is not being followed. The weapons are not being laid. So from the start point itself, there was a problem. So when to fight a war, sir, conventional war, you really need an intellect of 2 out of 5. To fight this type of a war where we had gone, you need, every person needs an intellect of 4 out of 5. There is no enemy in the front. There is no enemy in the rear. There is enemy everywhere. And there are civilians everywhere. Who is the enemy? Who is a civilian? Who is with weapon? Anybody moving with a stick, you will think he's carrying a weapon. You will be held to task. How have you opened fire? Why you have opened fire? So an intellect of 4 out of 5 is required. There are no fixed boundaries. In a conventional war, there are fixed boundaries. You cross the line, enemy is across. Here there is enemy everywhere. And actually he is not an enemy. He is just crossed the line. He's our own people. We are just wanting him to come to the dialogue table and talk it out with the government and whoever are the signatories of the accord. So we are just putting, or we're told to put that much of pressure and no more to get them back on the table. It was a political solution. The accord was political. There are no military solutions. So from that point of view, sir, we learned a lot. Not only we learned, the whole Indian Army learned a lot. And we were able to successfully defend Jammu and Kashmir because of the experience we got. Yes, sir. Because in Kashmir, there were people, the terrorists who had come from Sudan, from Afghanistan, from Pakistan, from everywhere the militants had come. They were mercenary force. They were thinking that, the Muslims were being taken for a ride, Muslim women are being raped, being looted, so that was the story being fed to them. So they had come to give freedom to Kashmir. Today, the world realizes that there is nothing of that sort happening. So we learnt a lot, and and the LTT were very good in mines, very good in mines. Everywhere they used to lay mines. So we learnt a lot from these militants. How very small body, with a very small body, they were very mobile. They waged a war with us. In the beginning, it was a static war, and then they fled, and then it became a jungle warfare. So urban warfare and then jungle warfare. So 2 years, 2.5 years, day in and day out, we learned a lot. The whole Indian Army learned a lot.
Basically, it was the experience of how the guerrilla warfare can be done, how the jungle warfare can be done, and how that counter-insurgency, or whether it is a mines, everything means it was a mix of everything.
Yes, everything's a psychological warfare, sir. They had fought 17 years. They had fought with the Sri Lankan army before we had gone home. They knew the terrain backwards. They were using every type of media. They had told the whole world that even in the Indian Army were, massacring innocent, which was not the case. But they had an upper hand in everything. They were buying weapons. The coastal areas were all open for them. So they knew the area backwards. They knew everything. So from there to come to a stage where we literally broke their back.
Good, Brigadier Sanjay. Another viewer has asked basically that how, because everybody know that you are a spiritual soldier or a spiritual commando. So they wanted to know that how meditation can help in preparation of CDS. That is one part of the question. And the same thing is how a young person who is trying to make his mark in the today's world can harness the power of spirituality to achieve goals of. You may like to say something.
Yes, sir. We have to understand why spirituality is very important. Earlier, they said IQ is important, the intellectual quotient. Then they said the emotional quotient is important. Today, the spiritual quotient is very important because spirituality connects you to the universe.
Yes.
The universe has got one beat, sir, only one beat. The whole universe is breathing, and the life of universe is got one beat, and it is in sync with your heartbeat. You have to sync your heartbeat with the universal. Now, to sync these beats, you have to meditate. Now, when you meditate, you will feel the energy of the universe entering into the on top of your head. So when you are meditating, you will find that the energy will go to the tip of your spine, and that is where your energy is charged. There is something over there which charges your energy. So you get a lot of energy. Every type of energy comes to you. Your intellect also is polished with meditation. You get a bird's view of every situation. You should not be physical. Now, if you are physical in your thought process, you will go wrong. You have to be spiritual. Now, to be spiritual in the thought process, you have to meditate. And when you meditate, your soul rises. Now, for your soul to rise, you have to become very light. How do you become light? When you are not holding any grudges, when you are not negative, you are positive in everything. Whatever is happening, like you said, you have to take responsibility. You cannot say it is because of the wind, it is because of the sun, it is because of this, because of that. I have no money, I don't have a car. All that is creeping and crying, like you said, CB. That is not the way. You have, for your soul to become very light, you just leave everything. You have to go with the flow. There is a path laid out for you, for your evolution of your soul. You have to recognize your life purpose. Once you start recognizing your life purpose, then you will, the life path which has been charted for you, you will follow that. And when you are following that, you will breathe normally. And when you are breathing normally, you will become light. And when you become light, you will meditate. And when you meditate, your soul will travel upward. And when it travels upward, you will see and get a bird's eye view of everything at every time of what is happening around. So you cannot be physical. Physical is this dead body. This body is dead. The soul is alive. It's not this body. So you cannot say that, this person is tall, this person is fat, this person is thin. Don't go by the physicality of that person. His soul is what you are not able to see. But if you concentrate between his eyes, you will feel the depth and the warmth and the vibration of the soul. And when you say an upper part and lower part, that is the upper soul. So what you are trying to say is the upper part is basically when you are concentrating on the soul of the, address the soul. So when you are addressing your own soul also, when the soul is talking to the soul, then what happens is you start meditating. And when you start meditating, you will realize that it is very easy. Your intellect starts shining. When you read something, you understand between the lines, you will understand, you will grasp it. When somebody is talking to you, you will grasp what are they trying to convey to you. So there is no requirement of talking too much, listening too much. You don't have to be very serious in life. Everything is already laid out for you. You just have to follow the path. So when you have strength inside you to follow the path which has been laid out for you, you have faith. So when you bring faith inside you, a lot happens. The whole universe embraces. So whether it is CDS or you want to do IAS, you want to join IPS, you join anywhere, you want to become an entrepreneur, whatever you want to do, the universe will help you. And you are your own master. And of course, you need some mentors, 1 or 2, 3 mentors. That's it. They are good enough. For life, they should be in touch with you. Wherever you have a doubt, and it's not a doubt which you have every day, every hour. Once in a while, you will have a doubt. And that doubt is to be clarified by that mentor of yours. So meditation is very important to remain in the realm which is not physical.
And very rightly brought out that when your clutter from the life is removed, then you do well in business, you do well whether it is CDS or whether personal life, professional life, everywhere you will do well. And meditation is one technique by which you can have this success in you. I agree. In fact, you mentioned about that Hamsa. In art of living, it is Soham, that Sudarshan Kriya, where you speak Soham. Soham. Jo aap hai, wo hum hai. You are referring to the God, and again it is a breathing technique. You go from a slow to the medium to the higher this thing, because different time पे आपकी breathing different होती है. जब आप calm and cool है, you are very slow breathing. When you are little agitated, then there are little higher. Then if you are very angry, then it's a different tone of your. So you are made to practice every cycle of breathing, so that your intellect or your conscious develop that within that period, in spite of any situation, you remain calm and cool. So different yogis or gurus or mentors have developed different techniques, but ultimate aim I find is the one, that you being the best human being in the world.
Yes.
And if you are the best human being, definitely you will succeed everywhere, whatever it. एक और चीज मैं यहाँ आपके सेकंड करना चाहता हूँ कि आपने बताया ना कि जब आप ये करते हो तो उसके बाद में जब आपकी सोल की तृप्ति हो जाती है तो that is what I say, win life like a warrior. You become a warrior. Warrior doesn't mean that you have to put on uniform and then you have to fight on the border or jungles or LTT or militants. The warrior, what I mean in this thing is you fight the demons within yourself. And those demons are your regressive attitude, your fear of failure, fear of unknown, fear of missing out, losing out, negative thoughts. If these demons you can win, you are a warrior and you are successful. And this, what we are doing, this show is meant for that, make them to understand what warrior. एक और चीज जो आपने बहुत बार बताई है और ये बोली है और ये बहुत ही अच्छी बात भी है और लोग समझना भी चाहेंगे कि you have said that you smell the death before it comes. I can relate with this sixth sense, and sixth sense comes with the meditation. Doesn't come very easy. इसके बारे में आप
सर ये चीज like I told you, I am constantly meditating even in operation. Meditation helps you to be aware of what is happening. You don't have to see, you can feel it. So what is when you are constantly meditating in operations also, you don't have to close your eyes for meditation. You can keep it open. So when you are aware, you are constantly aware. So what happens is you are throwing your vibrations all around. So you are aware, you are very much super conscious, you are super aware. So what happens is you come to know of vibrations and also you smell death. Now death is a thing which happens, before it happens, you will come to know. People around will come to know that death has come. Death is going to happen. So if you are meditating, you will smell death. It is an obnoxious smell. It is a smell. It is like, the soul is escaping from a body. It's something which, and the soul, it just does not leave the body like that. It's not easy for the soul to leave the body. And the people who come to take the soul, maybe it is their smell. I don't know what is this smell, but I have smelled it. So when I have smelled it, I know now fire is going to open. I know enemy is close by. I know death is going to take place. So hence the importance of meditation in whatever you are doing. And whenever I have got that smell, death has occurred. It's not a coincidence is what I have understood. Because in the middle of the jungle, in the middle of anywhere, it cannot happen that the same thing going. So then it is gradually I have understood that this is the smell of it. Has not happened overnight.
So you mean to say you physically smell it or it's an intuition?
No, it is a physical. It's a physical. Yes, sir.
And very powerful. Then it's very powerful.
And yes, and one more point which I want even young soldiers to know. You must use fear. Fear is like the barometer. Now, whenever somebody like I remember we were going through a jungle and there is one person, very experienced soldier of mine. He had already got a Veer Chakra. So it was around 2 in the morning. We were walking and he came from behind and he caught a hold of. He said, "Sir, बात करना." So I said, "हाँ, अभी करते हैं ना. अभी 2 घंटे में हमको assault करना है." नहीं, अभी बात करना. So I understood. I could see the fear in his face. So I halted. We were about 10-15 of us. We halted. So I told him, "Okay, let's sit here. We'll take a 5-minute break." So we took a 5-minute break. I took him aside. I said, "क्या हो?" He said, "मुझे बहुत डर लग रहा है." So I said, "Okay, fine." And he said, I can tell you because you know that I don't fear, but I'm getting this, and I don't know why am I getting scared? So I said, no, you have done the right thing. I thank you. And I changed my course a little bit. And if we were traveling in the same compass direction in which we were traveling, I would have walked into a trap. There were enemy in the front. So I skirted it and we assaulted from another direction. So I used fear. Fear is a barometer. So, but fear is contagious. You should not absorb it. You should keep it there. So if somebody has got fear, you calm down the person. You say, don't worry, we are there. Nothing is going to happen to you. You just don't worry. And you shake him out of it. And you tell him, keep it to yourself. Don't start talking now and telling others or anything. Keep quiet. But recognize that fear which has come means death is close by. If you take correct action, you will prevent death from happening. At least your own people are safe. And it happened number of times. I used to be peering into the eyes of my men to see if anybody is scared. If I feel nobody is scared, death is not close by. So you have to be super conscious when you are going into battlefield. I would love to narrate one point which General Nanavati taught me. There was after Sri Lanka, he called some of us for a study. He said we need to write down our lessons learned. So Army headquarters had ordered a study, and so part of it. So there he mentioned something which we already knew, but we put it down as to why some people are successful, some are not. To be successful in operation, you have to have cunningness inside. You have to have guile. You cannot be bumming along in operation. That what जो किताब में लिखा वो वैसा होगा नहीं. किताब में जो लिखा है, they are just fundamentals. There are so many things which will happen on ground. The enemy is very cunning. He will fire on the left side. He will fire on the right side. He will distract you by some fire somewhere. He will burn something to distract you. If you have the cunningness inside you, the guile inside you, you will not bum to that place where he's calling. And if you also want to be successful, you have to have the cunningness and guile to read the battle and not fall into his trap, but lay a trap for the other person.
Very true.
So for all of this to happen, you have to be super conscious, and lives are involved. You don't allow anybody to interfere in your thought process, to start shouting, to start jumping, to distract you. You have to tell everybody, just stay cool, calm. Nothing is going. We are doing our part. We are wearing uniform. We are doing government's job. We are doing the public's job. We have come for safety. It's not a personal battle. We're not come here to win medals or get a battle honor or battle theater honor or whatever honor. No, we have come here sent by God for protection of something, some task. So you have to be spiritual even there.
Yes.
Lives are involved, not only of ours, even of the others. By mistake, we should not kill some civilian.
Yes.
So you have to be super conscious.
आपने दो चीजें जो बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट बोली ब्रिगेडियर ठाकुर, एक तो सेल्फ अवेयरनेस बहुत जरूरी है, बिकॉज यू नो दैट व्हाट आर योर स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट, व्हाट आर योर वीकनेसेस, देन यू एक्ट अकॉर्डिंगली एंड देन यू आर ऑलवेज सक्सेसफुल. गलती नहीं होगी इफ यू आर सेल्फ अवेयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ. दूसरी चीज जो आपने फियर वाली बोली, इट्स रियली ट्रू. देखा जाए फियर इज योर फ्रेंड, फैमिलियरिटी इज नॉट. एंड व्हाई फियर इज फ्रेंड? बिकॉज फियर हेल्प्स यू टू टेक एक्स्ट्रा प्रिकॉशन, extra actions, so that you can overcome that to succeed. It makes you to take extra action, means it makes you to do work hard, and that is what you quoted that fear came. Because of that, you change the course and you didn't get into that. So this is very true that fear is your friend, familiarity is not, because familiarity will put you in the comfort zone and you will get trapped and you will get defeated, but fear will not put you in the comfort zone. He will take you out of the comfort zone and make you to take action. And unless you take action, you can't in life. It is true everywhere. So very right.
You are right, sir. I would just add one bit. You have all children and all youth would have heard. One should not be foolish.
Yes.
So this is what, when you say don't be foolish, it means that recognize fear and take action accordingly. Don't suppress your emotions of fear.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. एंड आई बिलीव कि आपने श्रीलंका में कुल फुल हार्डीनेस की थी शुरू में जब आप.
सॉरी सर, क्या बोल रहे हैं?
आई सेड दैट इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, आई हैव लिसन समवेयर दैट श्रीलंका में जब आप पहुंचे थे तो आपने वहां थोड़ी फुल हार्डीनेस की थी कि आप बिना प्रोटेक्शन के बीच में बैटल में खड़े हो जाते.
Yeah, absolutely. यंग ऑफिसर हैं सर, तो गोलियां जब चलते थे तो बहुत सारे चलते थे, तो आई टू स्टैंड अप एंड से कि यार ये चल कहाँ रहे हैं, और एंड आई शुड टेल ऑल माय सोल्जर्स कि गोली जब चलेगा ना, जब तुम्हें लगना है वो गोली लगेगा, आज लगे कल लगे या जब भी आपके नाम से गोली आता है। सो दे शुड से क्या बोलते हो सर, आप कुछ समझ में नहीं आता। ऐसे देखो मैं खड़ा होता हूँ, आई शुड स्टैंड अप विद ऑल बुलेट्स फ्लाइंग कॉन्स्टेंटली, यानी से देखो कोई गोली नहीं लगेगा मुझे। so so they used to come and complain to the CO कि सर ये पागल है, ये गोलियां चलती हैं, हम लोग कवर ले रहे हैं, ये खड़ा हो जाता है, गोली नहीं लग रहा है।
That is what you learned, that no foolhardiness.
No foolhardy, absolutely. That was my beginning.
Yeah,
That was my beginning period.
that's why I brought this point since you mentioned about that. And
Yes, sir,
this is what we call it an experience. This is what we learn
yes.
through experiences. We learn many things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very right. इसमें sir, I would like to add, because you have learned a lot. So there is something known as a negative vortex. ये negative vortex जो है sir, ये वो चीज है जहाँ पर कहीं negative होने वाला है. You may be super conscious, you may be anything, but अगर आप negative vortex के इलाके में फंस गए, आप भी मरोगे और लोग भी मरेंगे. So the point I'm trying to make is that you have to be not only super conscious, you have to understand that area also. There are certain areas जहाँ खून बहता है, उस इलाके में मत जाओ, बाईपास करो उसको. आप देखो सर, रोड में कुछ जगह है जहाँ पर एक्सीडेंट हर समय होता है.
बिल्कुल सही.
वही जगह पर होता है, वही जगह पर, वो जगह ऐसे हैं, वो नेगेटिव वोर्टेक्स की जगह है. सो यू मस्ट नॉट बी सो फुलिश दैट यू इग्नोर ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स व्हिच आर रिटन. इट इज सबको पता है. जो गांव वाले बताते हैं सर यहाँ पर ये है, यहाँ पर वो, आप मजाक हंस देते हो, पागल है, इज नॉट एजुकेटेड, डजंट अंडरस्टैंड. We are educated people, we are very high intellect, we don't pay attention to such things, और वहां गड़बड़ हो जाती. You have to be super conscious, and ये सब जो है सर समझना है. Don't discard it.
Everything is energy. Everything is energy.
Very right. Very absolute. We are also energy, sir.
Yes.
That is how you can sit here and you can feel अमेरिका में क्या हो रहा है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में क्या हो रहा है, गाजा में क्या हो रहा है. आप फील कर सकते हो यूक्रेन में क्या हो रहा है, सियाचिन में क्या हो रहा है, हमारे नॉर्थ ईस्ट में क्या हो रहा है. यू कैन फील. दैट इज व्हाई यू नीड टू मेडिटेट, बिकॉज यू विल थ्रो योर एनर्जी. वी आर एनर्जी. बेसिकली हम एनर्जी है. ये जो ट्रैवल होता है, जो हम एस्ट्रल ट्रैवल कहते हैं, एस्ट्रल ट्रैवल इज योर एनर्जी इज गोइंग. यू कैन फील इट.
इमेजिनेशन, विजुअलाइजेशन. या फाइनली किसी ने पूछा है कि सर ये जरा पूछिएगा, जो आपके फ्यू लीजेंड्स रहे हैं 9 पैरा एसएफ के, लाइक कर्नल जॉन डो ब्रिटो, कर्नल जैकब एंड मेजर जैकब, सुधीर वालिया, आरएस गिल, दीपक अय्यर, कैप्टन अल्बर्ट, इनके बारे में किसी ने पूछा है थोड़ा थोड़ा, जो आपकी एसोसिएशन जिनके साथ रही है, और वट एवर यू रिकॉल अबाउट देयर स्पेसिफिक सिग्निफिकेंस और क्वालिटीज यू मे लाइक टू अस.
Firstly, sir, I told you all the SF soldiers are very private.
There is no doubt.
They don't like their name to be, you will not find me going anywhere or any of the SF soldiers going anywhere. ये आप एक आध फौजी हैं जो जिनको मैंने कुछ बताया है, otherwise generally you avoid saying anything. They will also not want their names to be taken by anybody else. तो मैं फिर भी आपको कुछ एक चीजें बताता हूँ. कर्नल जॉन डी ब्रिटो is an excellent soldier. Excellent soldier. He has written a lot. He has established a number of schools and training, and a very unconventional, unorthodox type of thinking he has. So he was one of our you can say literate soldiers who could write. His verbal expression was very good. He could think through what was happening. So yes, sir. So and Sudhir Walia, sir, we found him excellent, action packed, dynamite. He was constantly thinking and out thinking, and he had so much of energy that he was the chief's ADC when Kargil took place.
Yes.
And he volunteered and he said, no, I have to participate. So Jacob, sir, and his father, both of them are excellent, soldiers, excellent soldiers. So, so actually anybody who comes into 9 Para SF and he gets absorbed, we have seen that each one is a gem. Each one is a gem. And they're all volunteers.
And unique.
And unique. Each one has a unique skill. as a unique skill. You cannot put them down. Anybody, whether it is a commando who has come to us or an officer who has come, they all are unique and they are self-driven. They are self-actualized. They are not looking for the next rank. They are not looking for promotions. They are there because they are very good in operation. They are very good in these adventure, these skills. They can win anything on a given day. And they allow others to also, like suppose whoever is closest, he's not wearing an officer's rank or whatever rank, he takes charge, and everybody allows him to take charge. So like I told you how we carry out our planning, everybody is aware of everything. No orders need to be given to anybody. So they are excellent officers and men whom you mentioned.
They are the achievers.
Mention about them. They've achieved so much in life.
They are achievers. Yes. Brigadier Sanjay, आपसे तो बात करने के लिए अभी कम से कम 2 और हमें पॉडकास्ट करने पड़ेंगे. There are so much to discuss because आपकी प्रोफाइल और आपका एक्सपीरियंस, आपकी विजडम इतनी है कि उसको लोगों तक पहुंचाने के लिए the way you have excelled in your career, the way you have performed throughout your life, it will take more time because आपकी अभी जो ओवरसीज की जर्नी है, quite a bit of overseas journey. Then as a leader, further leader, as a brigade commander, there are many other things which you have been doing now in the civil also. So there are a lot of discussion is still required. So right now we will, I must say thank you on behalf of the viewers and myself that the way you have answered every query, everything about, a lot of people have asked about your spirituality side, spiritual side of yours, and fantastically you have explained that, and I subscribe to your point of view. And operations starting from Sri Lanka, J&K तो अभी हमने touch ही नहीं किया. So with all these wisdom which you have shared in this part of the episode, thank you so much for being my such a humble.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very, very grateful. Very